Mel is such an introspective character, and so much of his expression is through silence and observation. And there's such an empathetic quality and restraint that you brought to your performance. As a first time actor, what was that process like for you creating that emotional space and that internal world for yourself? And kind of how did Charles kind of help guide you there?
Oh yeah, well Charles was like a really big help. He was, exceptional. Obviously, yeah, it was my like first, first big thing. So I didn't really know what the process was like and what I was expecting, going into the role and going into the film. But I, I stuck to what I did in my auditions, and I just, carried through with that. I think whatever I did, Charles liked it. But yeah, and I think in those moments of silence, it was just really important to have a lot of thoughts going on and a lot of things, being thought behind the eyes and just doing little things, to bring him to life. But yeah, in terms of like preparation and stuff like that, it was really just all in the script Charles, wrote and wrote for me, had like a personalized one for
Mhm.
me and each of us really, because we're three completely different people in the film. But yeah, I gotta say, Charles was like the biggest help in getting me ready and getting this incredible layered character onto the screen. And I I can't say I can take all the credit for it because it was really big help from Charles. But I just did what I thought was right, and yeah.
You're incredibly humble. And speaking of that audition process, and once you were cast, like you were just saying, Charles really personalized this role for you. What were the first kind of things that you wanted to understand about Mel and his journey? And what were the kind of the questions that you had for him?
Yeah, 100%. Well, where it came from, where he grew up was very important.
Mm,
Um, because it ties into the whole aspect of, why he does certain things, why he has his, certain ticks in life now. And the first day of filming was actually at the house with the younger version of Mel. This is like the very first day. So I got to go and then, just check out the house, see all my family, meet them all and just watch them all act how they did for all them flashback scenes. And I think that really helped me just going into my shoot. So I was very lucky to, I don't know if that was planned, but it was lucky that that was the first day and then all
mm.
my stuff was next because I got to have an idea of where I came from, where I grew up, which was not the best place. So that really helped me.
Yeah, I don't know what's more shocking, that this is your first acting gig or that you filmed this when you were 15. Do you think your age at the time helped you really tap into Mel's emotional world in a way that felt more unfiltered? Do you think it allowed you to approach the role with a different kind of honesty that might be harder to hold on to as you get older?
Yeah, I think. Well, honestly, I think yeah, because I think when you're younger, you tend to like soak things
Yeah.
in a lot easier and learn things a lot easier. So every single day, I was just learning new things about Mel, learning new things about filming, learning new things about everything, and it just I soaked it all in. I took it all, and each day throughout the shoot, I feel like I learned more about Mel every single day, and that really helped. But I think yeah, being younger definitely helps with like acting wise, and just in general because you learn things easier because
Mm.
young and you've got things to learn.
Great point. And there's so much authenticity that's woven into this project, from the research that Charles did to filming on location in an actual prison to casting real officers and incarcerated individuals. How did all of that help ground you in the world and shape the performance that you gave?
Yeah. Oh, it enormously is very helpful because when you're in the environment and just subconsciously you know that it's a real prison. And these guys have been in prison, and these officers work here in the prison. It just helps you, like it just makes you feel like you're really in prison. Yeah, we're like filming a movie and we've got some catering or whatever, but like man, it really felt like it. And it helped, yeah, obviously. Like a lot of the cell scenes we shot at the studio, but even then
Mm.
the guys did an incredible job. Leah, she, designed these cells and they just looked amazing. So once you're in it, you really feel like you're in an Australian prison cell. Like there's not much difference towards that and the real ones. So But yeah, like performance wise for all of us, me, Guy, and Cosmo, I'm sure it was the biggest help, being in the prison. Even for Charles himself, having that environment, it's just crazy that we were able to get that. So it helped out a lot, and that's probably the reason why the film is what it is.
Yeah, it's very immersive for audience members as well. And you touched upon this already, but at the center of the story is a pseudo paternal triangle between Mal, Shepherd, and Warren. And each of those dynamics is so distinct. How did you navigate those relationships, especially as they each pull Mel in different directions? And what was it like getting to collaborate with Guy and Cosmo, who bring such different energies and
Yeah.
approaches to their craft?
Well, I think that's what it was. Since they've got two different energies and perspectives on acting and their processes, that helped out because the two characters themselves were extremely different, but so were the actors. So
Mm-hmm.
that helped me in a big way. Like Cosmo was like so in character and was so immersed, and that was just fascinating to watch, first of all. Um, but yeah, like I barely even really spoke to him because he was so in character. Like we didn't really get the chat at all. So that helped out with that. I would be, because the way he acts and the way he was, to play Mark, um, was very out there. So I can't help but, look uncomfortable when I'm with him on screen, and that helped me, very well. Yeah. And then with Guy off screen, he was, the best guy. It was just like we were talking all the time. It was, not that Cosmo isn't. Cosmo's the nicest person on the he's incredible. But Guy, yeah, we would always talk, and even on set, it's like what it was as well. We had the nice cell scenes together, so it really felt like what they were off screen is what they were on screen as
Mm.
well.
Yeah, that
So
really plays to the character
yeah,
dynamics where Guy's character is very nurturing, even though
definitely.
he's manipulative, and Cosmo's character, you just feel that tension and that unease
Yeah.
throughout. And Charles has said that there is a bit of Mel in each of these characters. Having worked so closely now with Guy and Cosmo, was there something that you took away from each of them, either as scene partners or artists that you bring to future projects?
I think like vulnerability. There's
Mm,
big sense of vulnerability in all of them and in everyone in the world. And I think that Charles just did like an exceptional job at showing it and showing vulnerability in these men and what it's like to be in an environment like this. So I think if there's something that all three of them would have in common, that's what it would be. Yeah.
And what's so remarkable about this film is that Charles and the entire ensemble have accomplished something that feels so distinctly Australian, yet it's resonated on such a universal level, especially across the festival circuit. What do you hope the Tribeca audience takes away from this film?
Yeah, well, I hope they take away what, everyone's sort of taken away from it. And I hope they obviously like it as well. It's going to be a bit different because, when you watch it with an Australian audience, they laugh at a lot of the stuff because a lot of it's like Aussie
Mm.
and, you can just understand it. Um, but yeah, I hope they understand it as much as we do back home. But obviously, it's people have liked it, elsewhere as well. So I'm sure they'll like it. So we'll see.